Can Oregon quarterback Dante Moore or Texas quarterback Arch Manning beat Ohio State? And as it looks now, which roster is in the best position to perhaps topple what I still believe is one of the two best teams in all of college football? What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. If you're into that, hit that subscribe button, like this video, answer the question in the comments below. Which of these two quarterbacks do you think has the best chance to upset, and it will be an upset, Ohio State in 2026? The Longhorns get to host Ohio State week 2 at DKR, and Oregon goes to the Buckeyes November 7th in what should feel like familiar territory, at least for Oregon fans, if not for the staff and the quarterback. Remember, the last time that Oregon traveled to Ohio State, Mario Cristobal was the head coach, and they went and got themselves a W on the road against the Buckeyes. Texas loses a 14-7 game at the Shoe, right? A team that we expected to be the best in all of college football, the number one team in the country in preseason. And then Ohio State just took that from them and did hold on to that number one spot all the way up until Indiana upset them in the Big Ten championship game. But both of these programs went into the portal and into high school recruiting ranks to make themselves better and to try to get themselves back in a position where they could compete for championships. Oregon, who fell just a game short of being able to play for the national championship, and Texas, who really never looked like a great football team after they beat Oklahoma until they beat Michigan. Now, it's a different Michigan than the one that people expected. Definitely had a different head coach. But I also think it's a different Arch Manning, right? The guy that started the first 6 games is not the guy that finished the second 6 games. But when I look at these quarterbacks, you got to put them into the conversation of being the two best quarterbacks of the 2023 class. And that includes guys like Darian Mensah, Marcel Reed, and Sam Levitt, among others. But Moore threw for 3,500 yards, 30 TDs, which is 10 interceptions, and had some really great clutch performances. Also threw that pick 6 against Indiana in the Peach Bowl that gave Indiana a 7-point lead without needing the offense to take the field. He's still coming back from that. Going into the 2026 NFL draft, Mel Kiper thought that was the best quarterback that could be available, and Dante Moore decides to forego entering the NFL draft to come back to Oregon. And he will do so with I hope, a healthy assortment of wide receivers and a healthy assortment of running backs come December. DeCorian Moore and Evan Stewart, that gives you two of the better, one of the better wide receiver duos in all of college football. And if the running back room is healthy, they should be good. Now, you're turning over the offensive coordinator in Will Stein. And that offense has been explosive, running the ball and throwing the ball, Will Stein. So we're going to find out some things, right? We're going to see real quick what it is with Dante Moore and how often they let him be maestro back there trying to orchestrate the offense. But after a year being the starting quarterback at Oregon and getting to learn exactly what that means, the loss to Indiana is going to sting twice. And knowing that that's the only team that was able to beat you. The only team that could get by you is the first one to go 16-0 since 1894, Yale, and they won the national championship, right? The same thing is true of the Buckeyes in 2024. Oregon has consistently been there at the end. They just can't quite finish. And with Dante Moore going into year 2, you would expect they'll be ready to go. And a loud salvo will be if they can beat that Buckeyes team November 7th. Then there's Arch Manning, who is going into what we think is his final year as the starting quarterback at Texas. After the first half, like I said, got to be pretty damn good and looked great after his growing pains in the Citrus Bowl against Michigan. Threw for 221 yards, 155 yards rushing, 4 TDs on the ground. Outstanding performance. What we come to expect from Arch Manning, a guy that can throw it 1,000,000 yards, has that arm talent, and can outrun most people that are trying to chase him. Once he settled down and was able to read the coverage and make good decisions with the ball in his hand, whether to tuck in and run as opposed to I don't see it, or trying to force it, or just being fooled by the disguise in the post-snap read. It feels like the more football he sees, the better he's going to get, and the talent is going to show itself. The talent is going to be great. I don't expect the same Arch Manning to start that game against Ohio State, especially at DKR, but just it was his first start against a big-time opponent ever. Like, that matters to me. That matters a great deal to him, frankly. I think that Steve Sarkisian would be fully within his right to say, wash that. That's not my guy anymore. That was that guy. We have a different, evolved version of Arch Manning playing quarterback for us, and they got him some dudes. Like Ryan Wingo's back, but they added Cam Coleman. Hollywood Smothers in the backfield with a Raleek Brown. Basically washed out the running back room, brought in some new dudes. And they have loaded Will Muschamp for Bear. And anybody that remembers Will Muschamp as defense coordinator, especially at Texas, knows what kind of fiery man he is and what he's going to expect from his defense. They will be coming after Arthur Smith's offense. I don't know that Arthur Smith even knows that much about Will Muschamp, but I guarantee you Will Muschamp wants to kick Arthur Smith's ass. That's just how that guy is wired. Always how he's been wired. Always been that dude. My favorite Will Muschamp story is when he was on staff at Valdosta State, and he was in the interview for Kirby Smart to be on the staff. They put him on the whiteboard, and Kirby drew up his defense against this offense. And after he got done, it was Will Muschamp who said, hey, we're going to be pretty good with 12 defenders on the field, and they only got 11 on offense. He drew 12. That's how nervous the dude was, and that's how far Kirby Smart has come. But that's how way back Will Muschamp goes. I expect to see that man with his glasses down on his nose, yelling at people, also getting that defense ready to go. There's going to have an edge, or there's going to be an edge to that defense. They're going to be nasty. I don't know if they're going to be able to hold up to his irritation and annoyance for an entire season. But for that Texas game, that Ohio State game, they ought to be ready to go, dog. I really, really enjoy thinking about what that defense ought to be able to do. As I see it, the Buckeyes know what they got. Julian Sand, I feel like a dude that just put his used car on Facebook Marketplace that he doesn't want to buy. I know what I got. Julian Sand, quarterback. Jeremiah Smith at wideout. Brandon Ennis at wideout. Chris Henry, we'll see what he is. Bo Jackson's a dude. You need to make sure that somebody behind him can run the football. And then, well, the defense no longer has a friggin' pterodactyl in Caleb Downs. But I think Jalen McClain has an opportunity to come down, and they got two of the better corners in all of college football. We'll see, right? Larry Johnson Sr. is absolutely going to be able to replace the Cadence, right? Curry and McDonald. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I'm still going to pick the Buckeyes to win both games today.